Welcome back to ERD Stitches YouTube channel. If you have stopping by for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe, like my videos and share my videos. And my returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back. So today I'm going to teach you how to make a tote bag. But before I continue, I want to remind you of my ongoing online classes on school bags and lunch bags. If you're interested in joining any of the classes, just contact me on the WhatsApp number that is being displayed on this particular place. So without taking your time, let's get started. So this is the material I'm using for this design. I'm going to give you all their measurements now. So this here is the handle. I cut it two pieces, and the measurement is 2.5 inches here. The wideness 2.5 inches, while the length, the length of the handle is 26 inches. So I'm using size 5 zip cloth. So this is the leather I'm using, the main body of the bag. I've cut two pieces, and the measurement, the wideness is 17 inches, while the height is 15.5 inches. You can see it, and I cut two pieces for it. I've cut two pieces also for the lining, two pieces. This one I'm using it for the inner pocket. So now if you look at this leather very well, you can see that I've boxed it already. So I want to give you the measurement I used to box it, and also you can see the lining. I also box it. What I did on the leather is what I did on the lining. So I'm keeping the lining aside. I want to give you the measurement I used to box it. What I used to box it is 2.25 inches. 2.25 inches. You can see it there, by the same 2.25 inches. 2.25 inches by 2.25 inches. That's what I used to box it. I box here, I box here, I box the second one also here and here also. If you look at the lining also, I boxed it. So now I'm going to keep this leather aside. I want to start working on my inner pocket. But before I start, you can see that it's on fold. I folded it into two. I want to give you the measurement. So the measurement I have is 8.5 inches. Remember, I folded it into two, 8.5 inches. So now I'm going, as it is folded like this, I'm going to sew it now. I'm going to sew on that piece's side. That's what I'm going to do. And also, see, this line, inner pocket, is you that will decide how wide you want it to be. This, I measured it to be the same wideness with my leather. You can decide to make your own small or long. So now you can see I have sewn it. So I'm going to put my hand inside it and turn it to the right side. If you have light, it's good you iron it after turning it. But now I don't have light, so I'm going to use it as it is, like this. So I have turned it now. I'm trying to arrange it very well. So this is it. This is what I'm using for the inner pocket. So now I'm going to get one piece of my lining, because that is where I'm going to sew it. This is the lining I'm going to sew it. First, I have to fold it into two to get the midpoint. The same thing I will do on that material I'm using for the pocket. I'll fold it into two to get the midpoint. It's very important. So you can see I've gotten the midpoint. That crease line is the midpoint. Now I'm going to decide where I want to sew my pocket. So from here now, I'm taking 3 inches from the midpoint. I took 3 inches. So I've marked it already. So I'm going to place it midpoint to midpoint. Midpoint to midpoint. It has to start from that 3 inches point. I hope you can see it. So now I'm going to sew it at that midpoint first. You can pin it down before you sew. You can pin it down so that it will not shift. So I'm trying to arrange it well now before I will sew. So now I'm sewing it. After sewing it, I'll show you what it look like. So now I'm done sewing it. I'm trying to bring out the lining from the machine. So this is it now after sewing it. So the next thing, I'm going to sew it round from this point now. I'm going to sew it round. So this is me sewing it. Just watch where I will stop. So you sew it down here. You also sew it this way. So I'm done. This is our pocket now. You see it. I'm doing this bag for a nursing mother. That's why I made the pocket so big like this, so that she can put many things inside it. So now I'm going to get the second lining. I'm going to place its right side facing each other. Arrange it very well. See it, right side facing each other. I will sew the base here, sew the two sides. That's what I'm going to do now. Make sure you arrange it well before you sew. So I'm trying to sew the base now. I'm done sewing it. Now I'm working on the handle. The handle, first you have to fold it into two equal parts and sew, which is what I'm doing now. I'm working on the handle now because after the lining, we are going to sew the handle to the main body. So now I'm done sewing it. The next thing now is you fold in quarter on both sides. You fold it in on both sides, arrange it well, and now sew it down. Quarter-inch on both sides. At the end of the day, your handle will be 1 inch wide. So now I'm going to sew the handle to the main body. The first thing you will do is to get the midpoint of the leather, which I've got to. You can see that crease line there is my midpoint. So from that midpoint now, I'm going to take 3 inches on both sides. 3 inches. Just take note, watch what I'm doing. 3 inches on both sides. So on that 3 inches point, I'm going to go down by another 3 inches again. I'm going down by another 3 inches. That is where my handle will stop. 3 inches. Now I'm going to get my handle. Watch the way I place my handle. Just take note of the way I placed my handle. This is the point. So I'm from that outside that 3 inches, that's where I place my handle. So now I'm going to sew it. So now I'm sewing it down with 1¼ inch. 1¼ inch. That's where I will stop the sewing. So this is it. Now I'm done sewing it. What I did on this side is what I'm going to do on this side. So now after sewing it, I cut out this leather. I want to use it to cover that handle as a design. So the wideness is 1½ inches, and also the length or the height of it is 2¾ inches. You can cut any design of your choice and use it to design, and this is optional. If you don't want to design it, you can leave it that way, still okay. So now I'm going to sew it down. So after sewing it down, look at what I have. Is it not better? It's better. So this is it. What I did on this one is what I'm going to do on this particular one also. So guys, this is it now. I'm done sewing it. This is it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to sew my zip cloth. So the length of this cloth I'm using is about 18½ inches. Remember I said the size 5 zip I'm using, 18½ inches. So first I'm going to measure 1½ inches on both sides of this leather. 1½ inches here. I'll come to this side also. I'm going to measure 1½ inches. So my sewing is going to start from the first 1½ inches. But before that, you have to leave extra zip cloth, like 2 inches, or 2 inches is okay. Then I'll start my sewing from that point of 1½ inches. And my zip cloth is, the right side of my zip cloth is facing the right side of my leather. Then I will sew. My sewing will stop on the other 1½ inches point. That's where my sewing will stop. So you can see it. Have you seen it? From that 1½ inches to this point, you can see my mark point there. So now I'm trying to separate the zip, but before I do that, I have to indicate where I started my sewing. so that the zip will align very well when I want to fix my zip cloth. So I'm trying to take the measurement of where I started the sewing so that I can indicate it on the other side. That's what I'm doing now. So it's very, very nice so that your work will align. Now that I've gotten it, I'm going to separate my zip now. I'm going to keep this aside. Then I'll bring the second leather, which is this. But before that, I have to put them together to be sure of where I'm going to start, so that the zip, I will not misplace, the way I place the zip will not be wrong. So make sure that the two zip are on the same um place. So after sewing it, this is what I have now. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the two leathers together, right side facing each other, right side facing each other. Then I will arrange it very well, and sew. At first I will sew the base. After sewing the base, I will sew the two sides. Make sure you arrange it very well. You can see me trying to push in my handle inside. Start from the zipper side to sew. But before you sew, take note of the zip. On the place that you will tape with leather, you will push it inside to the right side. You see what I'm doing? This is it, inside this way. Then I will arrange it and sew it down. So this is me sewing it. You can see me sewing it. As you sew, you arrange. Make sure everything align together. So now I'm done sewing it. This is it now. So the next thing I'm going to do now, you can see the box. This is the time to sew our box. So now put it together this way. Make sure that the two stitch lines match together. You open the stitch allowance, sewing allowance. See how I open mine? You open it, arrange it very, very well. Peg it down so that it will not shift. The two stitch line must meet together. So now I'm going to sew it, put it in my machine and sew it. What I do on this leather is what I'm going to do on my lining. So this is it. I'm done sewing it. You see it. See the way I open it. You see it. So what I did here, I will do on this one. So this is it now. Look at it. Our bag is taking shape now. So I've also done the same thing on my lining. What I did on my leather, I have also done it on my lining. You can see it now. You can see it. So now I'm going to turn this my leather to the right side. Only my leather. My lining still remains the way it is. So this is it. Now I'm going to stuck my leather inside my lining, but before that, take note of this side. I did not sew this side because that's where I'm going to turn it from after working on it. So now I'm going to put my leather inside my lining, but before you do that, take note of where your inner zip is, because inner zip has to be on the back side. Take note of that. So and I put it together this way. Arrange it very well. Make sure you arrange it very well. Push the handle of the bag inside, because now we are going to sew the lining and the leather together. So now I'm going to match the two seam allowance. That is, the side seam allowance has to be together. The lining and the leather on has to be together, and also you open it up. Then I peg it. I'll also do the same on this side. See, I'm trying to open it, the lining stitch allowance. Open it up very well. Arrange it very well. And also you peg it down. Try to peg your work so that it will not shift when you want to sew it. So now after arranging it this way, the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to start my sewing. As you sew, you arrange. As you sew, you arrange. So the other zipper side, you will allow it to be outside. As you are sewing now, you allow it to be outside. So this is me sewing my bag. lining and the main leather together. So now I'm done sewing it. This is it now. You can see it now. So I'm going to turn it to the right side from that opening. From this side now, I'll put my hand inside and turn it to the right side. This is it now. After turning it to the right side, you push the lining inside. Arrange it very well. Arrange your lining, push it inside very well. Then I will start my top stitch. You see the way I'm pushing it down so that the lining will be relaxed. Then I will put it back to my machine and start top stitching it round. I'm done top stitching it round. This is it now. This is our bag. So now I want to put a fancy logo on this bag first before I close the lining. So you can see I've marked the point. What I did, I came down by 2 3/4 inches from my zip teeth. Then I've marked the point. You just centralize it there, mark it. So I'm trying to punch it open. Make sure you centralize it before you punch it open. So I'm trying to punch it open now. So now I'm going to put the fancy logo there. Push it inside very well. Then I'm going to put my hand inside from that space I left on my lining. I'll put my hand inside and press it down very well. That's what I'm doing now. So this is it. This is it. I'm done putting the logo. This is what it looks like now. So now this is it. See it. It's very beautiful on the bag. You can see it. Now I'm going to bring out the lining so that we can close it up. So there's nothing much about this. It's just to push in the seam allowance the way I'm doing it now. Make sure that the seam allowance is inside. Then you put it in the machine and top stitch on it, which is what I'm going to do now. So this is it. I'm done top stitching on it. This is it. So I'm trying to trim off the excess thread. So this is it. See the way it is. Now I'm going to push it in. This our bag is ready. There's nothing remaining. It's just to put the zip head. Trying to put the zip head here. Put your zip head. So this is it now. This is our bag. So after putting the zip head now, the next thing is that zip closed there. We are not going to leave it like that. We will not allow it to be like that. So we are going to cut out a leather and use it to tape there. So you can see I'm done taping mine. I've taped mine. This is what our bag look. You see it. See. You see this point. You see here I've taped it with leather. So if you have watched to this extent and you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do so to support me. And if you have not joined my online classes, you are missing a lot, because people that are in my online classes are doing very good and it's not expensive. 2,000 naira for school bag, you get about 6 designs of school bag, or you get about 10 designs of school bag depending on the package that you register for. And also 2,000 naira for lunch bag, you get about 10 designs of lunch bag. Thank you for watching. Please share my video. God bless you all. See you in our next video. Bye.